Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Joins, Mayor of the City of Winston-Salem. It's my honor to call to order this meeting of the Winston-Salem City Council. And would ask the city clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Larson.
Present.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember Mundy.
Present.
Councilmember Scipio.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Here.
And Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Would you please join the City Council and me in a moment of silence? Thank you. And would you join the City Council with me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our Sergeant at Arms tonight is Lieutenant John Morris. Lieutenant, thank you for being with us tonight. May we have item H1, please?
Item H1, resolution honoring Wake Forest University Women's Golf Team 2023 National Champions. Whereas the Wake Forest Women's Golf Team won a program record 5 regular season team titles, and the Demon Deacons were crowned as the 2023 national champions following their match play win over University of Southern California on May 24th, 2023 at Greyhawk Golf Club in Scottsdale, Arizona. And whereas the 2023 national title marked the first in Wake Forest women's golf program history and the 6th Demon Deacons program to win an NCAA championship and the first since men's tennis in 2018. Additionally, it was the Demon Deacons' 10th overall NCAA team championship, making Wake Forest University one of only 7 institutions in the ACC to achieve this milestone. And whereas Wake Forest women's golf head coach Kim Llewellyn was named the Women's Golf Coaches Association National Coach of the Year for the second time in the last 4 years, Coach Llewellyn became the 15th National Coach of the Year in Wake Forest's tradition-rich history, with 11 of those honorees coming this century. And whereas at the conclusion of winning the NCAA title, seniors Rachel Keene and Lauren Walsh each earned first-team All-American status, while sophomore Carolina Chikara earned second-team accolades, and graduate Amelia Miliaccio capped off her 5-year career with honorable mention honors. The 2022-2023 season was the first time since 2019-2020 that Wake had 4 women's golfers earn All-American honors. And whereas senior Rachel Keene became the first player in program history to be a 2-time ACC Player of the Year, as was announced by the Atlantic Coast Conference in May of 2023. She led the team with a 70-34 stroke average, which is the lowest single-season tally in program history. Keene also won 2 individual titles and was a finalist for the Annika Award presented by Stifel. For her efforts, Keene was selected to the 2023 Arnold Palmer Cup team and represented the United States at the 2023 World Amateur Team Championships in Abu Dhabi. And whereas 5 student athletes earned the recognition of All ACC at the conclusion of the 2023 ACC Championships in Greensboro, Rachel Keene, Amelia Miliaccio, Lauren Walsh, Carolina Chikara, and Mimi Rhodes became the first quintet in the storied history of Demon Deacons women's golf to all earn that distinction in the same season. And whereas the Wake Forest women's golf team accomplished a great deal off the course, as well as 4 were named WGCA All-America Scholar Honors. Additionally, Rachel Keene was a 2023 graduate with her bachelor's degree in business and enterprise management. Amelia Miliaccio earned her master's degree in communications after completing her undergraduate degree in journalism in 2021. Lauren Walsh graduated in May of 2023 with her bachelor's degree in mathematical business and made her LPGA debut. 6 weeks later. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and city council of Winston-Salem do hereby recognize the Wake Forest University women's golf team for the 2023 National Championship and applaud both the students and coaches for their historic wins during the 2022-2023 season.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I know there's nobody opposed, and it's unanimous. So we're so delighted tonight to have head coach Kim Llewellyn with us tonight, as well as assistant coach Ryan Potter and our good friend, athletic director John Curry. If you all would join me at the podium. Well, welcome to City Hall, and thank you for representing our city in such a marvelous way, bringing home a national championship. We congratulate you not only for the work of the members of your team on the course, but off the course as well. So I'm going to ask, I'll present this to you, Coach, and I'm going to ask the Athletic Director Curry to just kind of crank us off, if you will.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mayor Joines and Mayor Pro Tem Adams and the council, it's an honor to be here with you. This is a world-class community and a world-class city, and I'm very pleased to introduce who we think is the world's best golf coach, but at least this year is the nation's top golf coach, the National Golf Coach of the Year and head coach of the national champion Wake Forest Demon Deacon women's golf programs, Kim Llewellyn.
Go Deeks.
Go Deeks, I love it. You know, it's an honor to be here, very humbling, and I very much thank you for this honor with Dr. Wente and Wake Forest University and John Curry in the athletic department. We're all so pleased and honored for this and very, very much appreciated. I want to talk with Coach Potter on behalf of Coach Potter and our student athletes who could not be here. Our student athletes, what this community does is it gives them a home. And I will get emotional and teary-eyed because I have not only North Carolina citizens and residents, I actually have a freshman who is from Winston-Salem, and she chose to stay here and to go to Wake Forest University. But I also have many internationals, and this is home for them, and they come back. I have two that are here right now because they wanted to come back and train before they go to qualifying school, and it just shows what this community is. You guys helped us win a national championship. The day before or the morning before our final matches, the amount of texts that Coach Potter and I had from the community, the people from Winston-Salem, we read them before we went and teed off, and we absolutely crushed our opponent. And I think it has to do with the energy that you all provided. So not only from the team, but my first week here, I got to play with Dee Dee Adams, and the hospitality that you showed me, again, just made me feel part of this community. Coach Potter, people have been trying to get him to take him away from us, and he loves this community so much. We're fortunate that he stayed. So I very much appreciate all of you, and again, thank you for this honor. Go Deeks.
Go Deeks. Again, congratulations, and thank you for representing our city so well. We have a kind of a new feature on the agenda tonight. You've noticed it's called City Manager Update. So I would recognize our City Manager, Pat Pate.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just a couple of items. We want to make sure that we're updating you and the community on a few things that are going on, and and we'll start this for each council meetings. The first thing I want to talk a little bit about just is the holiday parade and Christmas tree lighting. I know that you all know that that's going on, but we want to make sure that everybody knows that the parade and Christmas tree lighting will be held this Saturday, December 2nd. The parade will begin at 5 p.m. and end at Corporating Plaza, which is at 237 West 1st Street. And the lighting celebration will begin at the conclusion of the parade, which is expected to be around 6:30. So the program will have live holiday music, dance performances, food vendors, and it's going to be, I'm told, a wonderful time in the past, and this is a great event for everybody to come to, so we encourage everybody to be a part of that effort. Second, I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of a program the Human Relations Commission is doing. They're accepting nominations for the 2024 Martin Luther King Jr. Young Dreamers Award. Nominations are open to the public and must be received by Thursday, December 14th. The Young Dreamers Award honors young adult leaders who have made a tangible difference in the lives of those who may have otherwise been overlooked, ignored, or disadvantaged. Nominees must be Winston-Salem residents between the ages of 18 and 40 who have done outstanding work in the Winston-Salem community that is in the spirit of how Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. lived and encouraged others to live. If you want further information about that from the public, you can go to our website, cityofwinston-salem.org/youngdreamers, and you can find the forms and other information about that. And we encourage folks to nominate those individuals that would be worthy of this award. And then I'd like to call on Aaron King, Assistant City Manager King, to talk a little bit about our leaf collection program and the success we're having this year.
Mr. King?
Thank you, Pat. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. We talked a lot about leaf collection last year, and it was not always a fun conversation to be had. I'm proud to report to you tonight. You can see, hopefully, can you see on your screens?
Not yet.
There we go.
Now.
We got them.
Okay, great. So what you see on your screen is what our citizens can see when they go onto our website. Blue is good. That means those are the routes that we have completed service on our first collection. As all of you know, we give every resident 3 collections, so we're on round 1 right now. Everything in blue has been completed. Everything in green is actively being worked, and you see only a few areas of yellow on the western and northwestern edges of the city that we have not been able to get to quite yet. So just as a refresher, we started our leaf collection season on October 30th. The weather has been incredibly favorable for us. We've only lost 1 day to rain so far. Our equipment has been holding up much better this year than it did last year, partly due to the weather. Staffing levels have been consistent throughout, and so we've been able to deploy a steady amount of staffing and forces each day. So we've made really good progress so far. So we hope to get basically the first round completed by the end of next week. Once we complete that, we'll begin on round 2. And so we'll start actively working quads 1 and quad 2, beginning for that second round of leaf collection for folks in the city. So far, things have been pretty good. We hope things will hold together. The weather will continue cooperating. But so far, so good. And just a last, just public thank you to our sanitation team, our management, our leadership there, and also our field crews who are actually doing the work. They've really stepped up. They heard a lot of that talk last year, and they've really stepped up big time this year, so they deserve to be publicly recognized and thanked for their hard efforts.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That'll be all. I'll just add one more thing. I know council's been concerned about our hiring rate. I would say I went to my second employee orientation today, and I think I've already welcomed over 50 new employees to the city just in my term here. So that's a good sign that we're making good progress there.
Well done.
So unless there are questions, that'll be all.
Thank you.
Clark?
Our new city manager, I get more calls on leaves than pretty much everything else combined. I've yet to get a call, and that is very, very good news. I drive the West Ward, and I see piles disappearing every day. So, Aaron, thank you and everyone working on this. The good news is we haven't had any rain. The bad news is we haven't had any rain, but that's a different department. But thank you so much. It means a lot because last year was into March before we finished, and now it's just looking great. So thank you so much.
Councilman Larson, a comment?
You're getting the leaves picked up at an incredible rate, and congratulations on that. So my call involves not picking the leaves up, but a call about what happens to the mulch program, of what happens to distribution of the leaves, and when will that start? People are looking for mulch from all those leaves we're picking up.
Yep, Councilmember Larson, so you're right. So we will provide that service again to our residents this year, and I believe it's around Good Friday when that program typically starts, and it's basically the mulch is there until we run out. So that will be provided again this year.
Good Friday's kind of the date.
That's right.
Thank you.
Councilman,
Just like the others, I've had a few community meetings, a lot, Zena, and staff, and it has been amazing that people, they get up to talk about the leaf connection. and how happy they are. And they said they've never seen it like this, so they just wanted to let us know and our staff and employees that they appreciate it. I got on the elevator today, and somebody said, the first thing they said to me, "Oh, thank you guys for the leaves. Y'all getting up the leaves like quick." And I told them we appreciate it. I told them go online and make a comment, or if they're on social media, make a comment about the staff and the team of people that's making that happen for us. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good job. We now head on to the agenda. It's comprised of two parts, the consent agenda and the regular agenda, general agenda. It's always the practice of this council to take the consent agenda as the first order of business. Items on this agenda have been unanimously recommended by a committee of the City Council or are being submitted in accordance with established city procedure. There'll be no discussion of items on this agenda unless a council member so requests, and that if they do request, would move that item and consider it individually. Items not removed from the consent agenda will be enacted with one motion. The meeting is being televised live tonight on TV 13 and will be replayed tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. and again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Copies of our agenda, as well as videos of previous meetings, are always available online at the city's website, and just click on the Watch Meetings Online option. Council members, without objection, the staff has requested that we pull item C1 and send it back to staff for some additional work, and it'll come back. Councilmember Larson asked for item C20. Are there any other items council members would like to have pulled?
Move for approval of the balance of the consent.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the balance of the consent agenda. All those in favor, please indicate by voting yes. And opposed, vote no. Thank you. That is unanimous. We'll go back down to item C20.
Item C20, resolution awarding construction contract for Old Salisbury Road located in the South Ward to Mountaineer Contractors, Inc. for $2.6 million.
Recognize Councilmember Larson.
Yes, this is mostly, I'm being pulling this because it's been a subject of great discussion in the South Ward for the last couple of years. $2.6 million is a lot of money to be spending on bridges, and I think anybody who's paid attention to the bridges in Winston-Salem knows that this is just a drop in the budget of what our budget is going to have to be for bridge repair. It's an expensive project, and this has proved to be a very expensive project as well, and has resulted in the road being closed now for almost, well, 2.5 years almost. And I'm very pleased to see this coming forward and congratulate the staff for getting it back on the front burner. It's going to be still a while before the road can be completed. It's a complicated project. The bridge actually is collapsing. The culvert is collapsing underneath it. There's 2 streams involved, multiple bridges, and it's been an engineering challenge. And I appreciate the residents' accommodation for this inconvenience that has caused them to drive all the way around the bridge and get home. So I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that we are moving forward on it, and a $2.6 million project is a big investment by the city to get this project fixed. Thank you.
Would you move approval, Mr.?
Move approval, yes, absolutely.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you, Councilmember Larson. We'll now go to the general agenda, which is comprised of two different categories of items. First is a public hearing on the designation of the Coca-Cola Bottling Company building as a local historic landmark. When this public hearing is called, persons in the council chamber will be given an opportunity to speak. If no one wishes to speak, I'll close the public hearing. Speakers on this item should give their name and address for the record and limit their comments to 3 minutes. We also have some appointments to boards and commissions, as well as a public comment period. The public comment period itself is a time set aside for citizens to voice their opinions on items that are germane to city government. When this comment period is called, each speaker will be given 3 minutes to make their comments, and we'll limit the whole public comment period to 30 minutes. May we have item G1, please?
Item G1, public hearing on ordinance designating certain property as a local historic landmark, the Winston Coca-Cola Bottling Company plant located in the South Ward.
Michelle McCullough will give us a staff report on this item, please.
Good evening, Mayor Joines, Mayor Pro Tem Adams, fellow council members.
Good evening.
Tonight, we have a local historic landmark application for designation. It is the Winston Coca-Cola plant. The applicant is Jared Rogers and the Salem Bottling Company, LLC. The address, as you can read, has multiple addresses. I won't read those off. You can see them up there. And the acreage is about 1.09 acres. The designation report and application is asking for the complete exterior and interior of the Winston Coca-Cola bottling plant. There is a garage building, and there is a garage workshop building. So there are 3 separate buildings. As you can see on the site location map, you can kind of see those 3 buildings. 2 of them look attached, but there is a small little break. So there are 3 buildings. The photograph, the site map to the right, shows the aerial view with the ages of the buildings plus their additions, and then a front view of the building. Just to kind of go over quickly about the landmark designation process, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, there are 2 criteria that each property that is designated must meet. It is special local significance and integrity of the building. By state statute, we are required to send all applications to the State Historic Preservation Office for their comment. It then goes to the Historic Resources Commission for a public hearing, and then comes to the appropriate elected official body, which this one is in Winston-Salem, so it will come to you. And if designated, the ordinance is then sent to the county for the tax deferral determination. That is done by the tax assessor. They can get up to a 50% tax deferral off what is designated. So that's kind of the carrot and stick case for local landmarks. That 50% tax deferral is to be used to keep the buildings and the properties in that historic shape, because the next thing is, once it's designated, design review starts immediately with the Historic Resource Commission. So the Coca-Cola bottling plant was submitted, and the report said it did meet both criteria. Under special local significance, there were 2 sections that it met, and it was the history, the industrial history of the company, and plus the architectural significance. The plant exemplifies the diversity of manufacturing operations that drove Winston-Salem's economic and physical growth in the earlier 20th century, and it shows beyond our tobacco and our textile industry. We had other industries. Coca-Cola was one of 7 bottling companies for soft drinks, and it was one of 2 that this building was purposely built to be a bottling plant. The other ones were, they went in and adaptively reused existing buildings. In April 11th, 1929, 25,000 visitors came to the first day when they did the open house, and the facility was built for $150,000. Over the next 35 years, they expanded that Coca-Cola plant into the 70s when they finally closed their doors. And it was in 1980 that actually Old Salem acquired the building, and they utilized that facility for their archaeological department and a lot of other departments where they needed the space. So the architectural history is also very interesting. I'm hoping you got a chance to read it, because the soft drink history is amazing here. So the Mediterranean Revival style building is our only Mediterranean Revival style industrial building we have. It was the first that was designed by a group of architects associated with Coca-Cola to build buildings associated with Coca-Cola. So we had the first building that Coke had the set of architects to have this drawing and for it actually to be built right here in Winston. Again, our list of first is tremendous. And they did that. They wanted to be a little more stylish than every other industrial building in town, and that was to promote their image. They had the big Coca-Cola and cast stone in the front, and that's stylish. And then in 1955, they put the viewing area where you could watch the bottles go around. That was all part of their gimmick. So the other really significant thing that you kind of don't see is how they built the structure, because in the early 20th century, the use of steel and concrete, this was one of our first buildings that really was built like that. And it was penny-wise, but it was solid. So those are the reasons that it's special significance here locally. And then it does meet the integrity. It meets the 7 qualities of integrity to be listed, which is location, setting, feeling, association, design, materials, and workmanship. So as required, we did send it to the North Carolina State Historic Preservation Office. We received their comments on August 18th, 2023. They said it was a great report, and you have all the information you need to make your decision. That's about all they give us. On October 4th, the Historic Resource Commission held their public hearing. They unanimously found that evening that it does meet both those criteria that we mentioned, and they recommended that you designate the exterior and interior of the bottling plant, the garage, and the garage workshop, and the site upon which it sits. You have three options for a motion in our enabling legislation. That is to designate as proposed. You can designate just a portion of it, the exterior or the interior, or you can deny the entire designation. And I have a few photographs. I hope you're familiar with the site. It is under transition right now, so if you go by it, you will see it changing in front of your eyes. But we're walking around the building. This is behind it on Poplar Street. There you're seeing the garage and the garage workshop, and there we go. The applicant is here for the public hearing, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions, Mr. McCullough? Councilmember Scipio.
Just for clarity, when it's designated for both the exterior and interior, what can the owner not do?
So as with every landmark, they have to follow the landmark design review standards. So there's a book, just like for our districts in West End or Old Salem or Bethabara, they have to follow those. So there's not a list of do not do's, but it's basically on the principles that we want to retain as much of the historic fabric as possible. So it goes from like a retain, repair, replace, and giving them guidelines and standards of how to do that.
Thank you.
With this building too, because I said there's a lot of work going on, they are going through the state rehabilitation tax credit process too. So that is being reviewed at the state level and then at the federal level at the National Park Service.
Councilmember Larson.
Although this is not a period building for Old Salem, it was a building of great use for us for a number of years as a storage facility for collections, archaeology, architecture, and maintenance and trades department all operated out of there. But what that meant was, in fact, it was closed to the public. And I think what's exciting about this particular project is that when it's completed, this building will be open to the public, and it will be back on the tax rolls as a public asset to our tax base, because Old Salem, of course, is a non-taxable entity. So I'm very excited to see this happening, and I'd like to move for approval.
Hang on just a minute. Do the public hearing.
Oh, just a public hearing.
Come right back to you. All right, this is a public hearing. I know the petitioner, Mr. Rogers, is here. Mr. Rogers, would you like to add a comment?
Good evening. So first of all, thank you for your time and your consideration for this designation. We are very excited about it. As Mr. Larson mentioned, the public will be able to see production again happen in the space. Like the space where the bottles were getting filled, that's going to be bakery production going forward. That'll be viewable, pretty much all hours of the night, pretty much.
Also, give us your name and address.
Oh,
please.
sorry, Jared Rogers, 166 Lynbrook Drive, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 27106. And then in the 30s, Coke built a second story for a community space, completely designed for church groups, bridge clubs, all that kind of stuff. And that space is now, for us, is designated as probably going to be event space also. So, and also part of the landmark designation, annually we will allow tours of the entire space for the public to come and view everything.
Good, thank you. Any questions, Mr.? Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard during this public hearing for this project? All right, seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed, and now I recognize Councilmember Larson for a motion at your pleasure.
Thank you, Mayor. I would recommend approval of this motion, and congratulations and good success on the project.
Second.
Motion is second. Motion by Councilmember Larson, second by Mayor Pro Tem Adams. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. McCullough. Item G2.
Item G2, Mayor Joines' recommendation for appointment to the Bicycle Pedestrian Active Mobility Advisory Committee, John Gunkel, term expiring August 2026.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams, second by Councilmember McIntosh. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you. Item G3.
Item G3, Mayor joins recommendation for reappointment to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, City County, category ETJ member within the extraterritorial zoning jurisdiction of the City of Winston-Salem, Gregory Hairston, term expiring September 2026.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams, seconded by Councilmember McIntosh. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Item G4.
Item G4, Mayor joins recommendation for reappointment to the Urban Food Policy Council, Shalonda R. Burton, term expiring September 2026.
Move for approval.
Thank you. Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams, seconded by Councilmember McIntosh. Any discussion? Not all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. And that is unanimous. Thank you, Council. We'll now go to the public comment period. As I mentioned earlier, this is a time once per month that we invite members of the public to address the council on matters that are germane to city government. We'd ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes and give us your name and address for the record, and we'll be 30 minutes total for this thing. So the first person that is signed up is Michael Douglas.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Michael Douglas, and I grew up here in Winston-Salem. Attended Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools until 1975 when I left here and joined the United States Navy. I love Winston-Salem. It is my home. I've literally been around the world, but I came back to Winston because this is where I was not born but raised. This place has deep meaning to not just me, but a lot of people. I'm also a member of Crystal Towers United, a place over here on 6th Street that has been left to run down and for it to just, fall apart. We've got a board that has been not elected, but appointed by you guys that's supposed to overlook us and help us to maintain our way of life and keep the things that are dear to us near and dear to us. Unfortunately, when you put people on the board, you put people on the board that don't know how we live, that don't walk in our shoes. It's like having taxation without representation. We all know that's un-American. I would ask you to please think about who it is that you're putting on these boards, what they bring to the table, and who their constituents are. We need you to think about us. And because that has not been done, I'm throwing my hat in the ring to run for city council on the Northwest, Mr. McIntosh's old district. And I have to do this because I was called upon to do this. I was in my apartment one Saturday morning when somebody came and knocked on my door and asked me about what I thought about how we were living, the conditions that we were forced to live in. And that makes me become a community activist. I hope to be sitting up there helping make the choices that are necessary for the people of Winston-Salem. Think about that when you go to sleep tonight, folks. Thank you.
Daniel Ballard.
Daniel Ballard, 756 Barnesdale Road, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 27106. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Respectfully like to ask you to review a tabled item from March 18th, 2019 for an urban archery program in Winston-Salem. So if you guys wouldn't mind taking a look at that, would appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ballard. Cynthia Herson, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia Herson, 1200 Willie Davis Drive. I'm here to talk about the affordability versus low income. Moving forward, nothing in your plan is affordable. Based on the definition of affordability, it means the ability to be able to afford. If you look at the rent requirement, it's 3 times the amount that you make. And I need y'all to start speaking the truth when it comes to 1200 Willie Davis Drive and 1635. We have 10 units, and well, the city has 10 units. Everybody needs housing stability. Nobody should be denied that. But we cannot afford the plan that y'all so-called, that y'all was gonna take into place, and you all said that y'all was gonna decide something, but it's going on 6 months now. And I think that you all should have been and came up with something to give us, to tell us, you should keep the units affordable, you should keep the rent affordable, and you should not go up on the rent. It should remain at the same price, and you should have a minimum term of the 30 years or something to that effect, where the tenants don't have to worry about this no more. You know what I'm saying? McIntosh, I don't think that you really be concerned about us, because you say that you wanted us to departments demolished. You never thought about now time to come out there and say, well, if you didn't, I might apologize. One of y'all said it. Everybody looked the same to me. But I just want to tell y'all that, like I said, when y'all talking about affordability, you can't have affordability without including the low income. Everybody can't be on the same level, but we all are good at the level that we on. When y'all go into y'all closed session, could y'all please think about 1200 Willie Davis Drive, 1635 North Cleveland, and could y'all please give us an answer before the end of this year with the lease that is extended past the point of no return unless we decide that we want to leave. I wish y'all would just think about that. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Dan Rose.
Good evening, I'm Dan Rose, 1332 Pleasant Street. No longer your problem, Councilman Mundy. Now I'm your problem. Apologies, Councilman Taylor. I'd like to talk about some of the words that get used up here, like affordability, like Ms. Herson has stated. 80% of AMI is well beyond the means of the people who need it the most, need housing the most in this community. 15-year commitments to affordability. That's less than 20% of the average American's lifespan. That's nothing. We really don't understand what affordability is here, or we do understand it and we choose not to pursue it. I also want to talk to you about your abdication of responsibility at Crystal Towers. We always hear from you folks, that's federal government, that's Hawes, that's something else. But as Mr. Douglas pointed out, the mayor appoints the Board of Commissioners. The mayor has appointed his campaign treasurer, William Rose. The mayor has appointed the man who pieced together the Innovation Corridor on behalf of Wake Forest. Again, people who know nothing about what it's like to live in public housing. I'll tell you a story about Crystal Towers. I'll tell you two stories. Mr. Douglas called code enforcement. He couldn't open the door from his bathroom to the hallway. The floor was so warped in his apartment. He told the management several times to fix it. He had a walker, he had his knee replaced. We put in the report. The inspector came out and said, yeah, you're right. They need to fix this. Weeks went by, nothing happened. We called Brian Cheney, the code enforcement senior supervisor here in the city. He thought we were calling from the housing authority. He said, oh, you don't have to worry about that. We haven't even released the report yet. You don't even have to make the repairs until we do that, and we're not getting ready to do that yet. When he found out he was talking to a tenant, he hung up on us. Another story. A man broke his shoulder at Crystal Towers recently and asked me to bring him some groceries. I did. I ran the gauntlet of needy folks at the door who are oftentimes asking for stuff, and I get it. They're living hand to mouth. I went in, I gave him his groceries, and I decided to go out the side door because I didn't want to run the gauntlet again. I had to get to work. As I went down to the bottom and I went to exit the building, the emergency exit was sealed shut. I had to force my way out of the building, and I'm a pretty healthy guy. The fire department says there's no problem at Crystal Towers. That's your fire department. Have a good night.
Luann, sorry, I can't make it.
Cophammer.
Sorry.
That's okay. Hi, I'm Luann Cophammer from 2235 Saponi Village Court, 27127. And I had a broken basketball goal dumped in the turnaround in front of my house. And immediately when I got home, I contacted 311 for illegal dumping, and it was blocking the turnaround as well, so I knew the garbage trucks wouldn't be able to turn around in the neighborhood. And nothing happened for 2 weeks, so I called back. Nothing happened again, called back. I even went to the DOT, nothing happened. It's still sitting there, and last Friday I got a bill for $800 saying that I needed to dispose of it from the city. And I think the communication, because I tried to do everything I could to have it taken care of, and I think the communication between the departments needs to be just handled a little better. I was told it's going to go up, the fine's going to go up if I don't move it by Wednesday, and it's not my issue to handle. And I've really tried hard to go through all the right areas. Today I went over to the building and tried to talk to 2 different people. They weren't available, and then on top of that, when I called their emails or they called their numbers, mailbox is full, or I'm not going to answer my email. I'm not going to answer my calls. So I don't know what else to do. So I'd like a little more communication between 311 and the other powers that be.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Would you
you.
make sure Mr. King here has your contact information, please? Clara Robinson.
Hi there, my name is Clara Robinson. I live at 1121 West End Boulevard, Apartment 9. I just first want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I've lived in Winston-Salem for almost a year, and I love the town. I want to say thank you for all the work you've been trying to do to increase affordable housing in our town and help protect the environment, two of my greatest passions. I'm a volunteer as well with the Piedmont Environmental Alliance. You can see where my bias is. But I especially wanted to mention this this trust fund for public affordable housing. I would love to see that get pushed through. I think that's a fantastic idea. And especially would love to see pushes toward energy efficiency in the designs of the houses, both to help protect the environment, but also to lower energy costs for the people that live there. Things like roofs designed where solar panels could be installed later, hookups for electric vehicles in the future, and things like all electric systems and HVAC systems. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Matthew Myers.
My name is Matthew Mayers. I live at 2844 Wesleyan Lane. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. And since I'm still stuffed with pumpkin pie and turkey, I thought I'd just spend my time with you this evening saying thank you for a bunch of things that I am thankful for to all of you and the people to my left and right. Starting with Mr. Pate, thank you for introducing the idea of a city manager's update. I think that'll be a great addition to these meetings. For the council and also for the public. I'm thankful to Mr. Clark and Mr. Smith for looking into changing out the street lamps to LEDs to save a bunch of money and electricity for the city. That's a great idea. Thankful to Mr. Joins and Ms. Tony for looking into this idea, especially about the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, hopefully with provisions like Ms. Robinson was saying, to make them not just affordable up front, but affordable in the long run because of energy efficiency and so forth. Gosh, what else am I thankful for? Mr. Geis, a couple of weeks ago, gave a great report about fleet services, and there's some challenges there. But he also hinted at this upcoming study about fleet electrification that should be coming down the pike sometime. That's going to be a great transition for the city. And I'm really especially thankful for those who found and hired the new sustainability director. I think Dr. Miller is going to be a terrific leader for this city, and I hope that Winston-Salem will take full advantage of her expertise and her enthusiasm to really make some progress on sustainability goals. She seems terrific. And since we're at the third anniversary this month of the sustainability resolution that you all passed in 2020, right in the middle of a pandemic. That was a pretty bold move, I would say. Pretty ambitious goals. I want to thank you for that. And just draw your attention to two things in there. We talk mostly about the energy efficiency and the emissions reductions, but it also has in there that the city is supposed to be creating programs to help disadvantaged communities to reduce their energy load and also improve their public health outcomes. You have a lot of help in that regard now from the Inflation Reduction Act, so hopefully we can see some progress on that. And then the very last item on that resolution says that there should be a report every year, and some years there have been reports, but it's supposed to tell you, are you on track? But we don't know what that track is at this point. And are you allocating enough money? Since we don't know what the track is, we don't really know if you're allocating enough money. And I really have high hopes to come back next year and say, thank you for doing all that. Thanks, and have a good night.
You too.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. Ms. All that has signed up for the public comment period. Is there anyone in council chamber who would like to be heard? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Khalil Hassan, 5116 Britt Road, Winston-Salem, 27105.
Good evening. Good evening.
My comment tonight is a real simple question. Has the city council forgot what your city staff has done in engaging in a bid rigging scheme that's been proven, has happened? My question becomes one, what is the city council going to do about it? Why haven't you done anything thus far about it? But this has to end. The city attorney was instrumental in providing a false affidavit for this contract. Contractors being paid for work they didn't do. But it's not just my wife's company that you're putting out of business, but you're putting out a lot of companies, minority-owned companies, in the way that you're allowing these minority contracts to go forward. I hear none of you talk about what you're doing, not only to our company, but to every black small company in this city. You can look at the numbers and make them say anything you want to say. But at the end of the day, we're getting nothing. We're being handed out some, I guess, hand-me-downs from everybody else. Everybody else in this city is making money, but minority contractors are catching hell. I'll be back because I know this is an issue that goes far greater than what I can handle in 33 minutes. But it's an issue that's going to be resolved. You will not walk around and act as though you did nothing. Because what you did warrants 10 years in prison and a $100 million fine, so you must have done something pretty bad. But you're going to act like you did nothing, but we will return.
Thank you, Mr. Hassan. Mr. Comer, did you want to comment on any of those?
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council members. I have responded, as you know, to numerous concerns raised by Mr. Hassan over the course of 2 to 3 years. As I've indicated on numerous times, the issue with Mr. Hassan or his company is the fact that it does not have a license to bid on a contract of $30,000 or more. And that statute has been provided to Mr. Hassan by myself, and it has been also revealed to him by members of the General Assembly's legislative staff as well. So, and I'm not sure which affidavit he's referring to. I've provided memos which have been shared with Mr. Hassan.
Thank you, Ms. Carmen. Thank you, Mr. Hassan. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
I don't get to
Hassan.
respond to what she just said.
No, thank you, Mr. Hassan. Is there anyone else who would like to be heard during the public comment period? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public comment closed. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Motion by Councilmember Clark, second by Mayor Pro Tem Adams to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned.